Welcome to the Product Design and Development course. Today we'd like to explain a topic on industrial design. Industrial design actually is located at the chapter 11 at the book Product Design and Development. So if you look at here, guys, we back to the previous chapters when we have already learned from midterm period. So we start with planning, concept development, and then move to the system level design, detail design, testing, refinement, and production ramp up. So actually we have done in the system level design because you have done concept generations, concept selections, and also concept testing. Now we try to extend um, the product development process into industrial design process. So what is the consequence and also the difference between industrial design and the previous step that you have done? So actually, industrial design process is the extended process that will look at more on the wider scope of market. So if we want to serve more market, it means that more industries. So we have to look at industrial point of view rather than product or small scale point of view. So in industrial design process, we will consider technology driven product and also user driven product. But if you look at the comparison between technology driven and also the user driven, so user driven is more dominant than technology driven because we know that what we have done so far, we try to look at what the customer needs at the beginning. So we would like to see more on what the user needs rather than what technology that we have. So the outlines for today, we have goals for industrial design and expenditure, costing, right? And the importance of industrial design, process and timing, roles, and the quality assessment. So basically, guys, this chapter actually, this is a kind of repetitions and also refinement from the one that you have done in the chapter 2. If you still remember in the chapter 2, we learn identification of customer needs, right? In that chapter for the identification of customer needs, we try to look at what the customer wants, and then after that what the customer needs, and then we interpret and we put on the what's right in the house of quality. So this is the criteria, the product we should design. And if we look at the industrial design or ID, we try to categorize. We try to categorize and we try to extend the needs into industrial needs rather than customer needs. But basically, there is no significant difference. It is just refinement. So we call it refinement. So we look at two things. The first thing is ergonomics, and then the second thing is aesthetics. So ergonomics, for example, we like to see the ease of use, ease of maintenance, user interactions with the product, minimum knowledge of using it, and safety. I guess you guys still remember the concept of ergonomics, right? Ergonomics is something we need to fit fit the task, fit the product to the users. Okay, and then the second one is aesthetics. Aesthetic is about the appealing of the product. For example, the amount of product differentiations, the importance of pride of ownerships, product image, the motivation to the design team. Again, I have an example. If you still remember the Maslow hierarchy chart, right? So the first, I think the basic chart or the basic level is how to make people safe, right? To make people safe, it means that the basic needs. But after that, they they find that okay, I need something more, okay, that increase my pride, that increase my status. So I guess all of them are talking about aesthetic issues. So the IG industrial design goals, the first is about the product utility, right? The product should be fulfilling, safe, ease of use, intuitive, right? And then second one is appearance, because I guess nowadays the customer not looking at only on the utility or the functionality, but also the appearance. That something that make them feeling good, or that appealing to their emotions, that I think it will attract the customer. So it can be form, line, proportions, colors, image, and etc. And then next one is communications of corporate image. Okay, how that we have the product, that company has the product, and then how we communicate with the customers and also with the other industries or other companies through the visual quality, right? The visual quality, I guess, I have one example that the colors of your product and the packaging. And if you look at nowadays, people, I think is colors like black or gray or white is still of interest, right? Because that's this color talking about elegance, right? More elegance and more yeah, more professional. Okay, and then next is ease of maintenance and repairing. Of course, maintenance easy to repair, easy to maintain, and low manufacturing costs. Okay, and what's the IT process? Actually, this is almost the same as what you have learned from the chapter 2 until chapter 6. Means that from the week 2 until the week 6, that we start with investigation of customer needs and industrial needs, conceptualizations of of the concepts, right? It means that the finalizations of concept and preliminary refinement from the customer feedback. When you still remember when you do concept testing, for example, and there are some feedbacks given by the customers, and then you try to refine, and then you finalize the concepts. Okay, finalize the concepts and put on drawings. Yes, drawings before we talk about um, prototype. Okay, put on drawings, and you coordinate with the groups, with the engineering team, with the production team, whether it is it can be it can be implemented, can be finalized or not. Okay, I guess this is a repetitions, but again, guys, we looking at the industrial scope or industrial point of view rather than individual point of view. Okay, and product types from the industrial design point of view, we have two. The first one is technology driven products, and the second one is user driven products. So ideally there is a combinations, okay, combination integrations between technology driven and user driven. What are the difference? Okay, technology driven is talking about the engineering or technical requirement, advanced engineering. So for example, products of maybe Apple or Samsung, we try to see the popular products, right? The gadgets, more smartphone. So actually, they are driven by technology. Of course, the technology of chips, the technology of, for example, the microchips, processor, and also the camera, right? They are driven by that. And but again, guys, industrial design has little involvement of this technology. Means that technology driven is not much influence. Okay, uh, it's not much influencing the success of industrial design because industrial design is more on again user driven product. So if we talk about industrial design, this is a combination once again. So technology driven, I think is 50%, but user driven, sorry, technology driven, we talk about maybe 40% and 60% influenced by the user driven product. So what is the user driven? It is usually there is a high degree of user interactions for this product. That's why when you try to design a product, you start with identification of customer needs, how the user interact with the product, how the user give you feedbacks, and the functionality and aesthetics appeal are important again, guys. And functionality, as we talk about ergonomics, and aesthetic, we talk about appearance. And ID or industrial design works closely with marketing and engineering throughout the process. Again, what is the importance of marketing? Marketing is the front line team. Okay, frontline team, because marketing, of course, the job is to market the product. But before that, they also try to see and investigate what the customer needs. And those data or this information will be given. It will be given to the engineering, okay, to the engineering people. Okay, and this is I'm taking from IDEO. IDEO is a company that successfully designing many products. So three design challenges actually consist of people, business, and technical. And we know that the technical is more on engineering, where it's checked with this it is visible or not. It means that in terms of materials, for example, and then the technology is still in a dreaming states, or it is can be realistic. You need to check is material available or not. And then we take a look at people, what the people desire, what the people uh, need, what the people want, and what the people see, and what the people use. And but it is not enough. We have to see the business. So can be, is it can be marketed? It means that can be implemented, it can be sold or not. So three is, I think it's three components of design challenges is very important, and they are integrated. They are in this. This is combinations of people, business, and technical. And these are some example of technology and user driven. The first one is that this is a very luxurious car at the time. It's a Ferrari, right? Everybody knows. And this is technology or user driven. And this is a sports shoes. This is a, yeah, it's kind of PC, okay. And I think it is user or technology. Yeah, okay. You need to decide, okay, guys, and try to look at this one. This is more appealing, right? This is more aesthetics. So of course, it is a combination between technology and user. But which one is more dominant, user or technology? you decide. Okay, and also this one, I guess this one is more on usefulness, right? It is more on functional. So is this technology or is it driven? Of course, they are combined, means a combination between technology and user driven. Okay, and then we try to look at the timing of industrial design involvement. So back to um, yeah, the definitions of industrial design. So technology driven is, I think, is less dominant than user driven, right? So technology driven can be done during the later phases of product development. So in what the stages that technology driven is needed. So I think it's in the concept generations. Yes, of course. When you still remember when you generate some concepts, you also thinking about metrics, right? Thinking about metrics. Metrics can be materials, can be engineering characteristics, can be weight, can be colors, and etc. So that these are technology driven. And concept testing, when you test your concept, the yeah, either you use simulations, for example, there are some units, there are some measurements, right? So it is also technology driven. And the detailed design and refinement for packaging and marketing, for example, this is almost in the final stage. This is also technology driven. But try to compare with user driven. This is done throughout the entire process. So first, when you do, when you are doing need analysis, customer needs analysis or identification of customer needs, and then concept generations. Also, we are looking at, I mean, the feedback and assessment of the customer. Okay, concept testing also, you test your concept to your potential customer, and the system level design for refining the promising concept. When you have done concept testing, then you gather some feedbacks from your customers, and then you try to refine your concepts. And later, in the detailed design for selection final concept and also coordinating engineering, manufacturing, marketing effort. It means that when you have done everything, including the prototype, and then you have to, you have to coordinate with other parties, including marketing, and to see and to decide what the marketing strategy is useful or is appropriate for your product. So here it means that user driven is more complex than technology driven. Okay, guys, so it's very clear enough that user driven and technology driven can be combined to implement the industrial design process. But again, user driven is more dominant than technology driven. And these are some examples of product to see the contrast between user-driven product and technology-driven product. So one example, if you look at the technology-driven product, if you look at the supercomputer, hard disk drive, desktop computer, mobile phone, etc. I think this is more on technology because that product is driven actually with advanced technologies, right? But if we look at office chair, coffee maker, watch, why it is more on user driven? Because it is more on function. That the function depends on what is actually comfortable to the users, right? Office chair, of course, it should be comfortable when people sitting, adjust the height, adjust the slope, adjust. It means that adjust the width, for example, and coffee maker, how to handle to to understand the menu, right? To understand the features, and also I think it's not many advanced technology influence this product. But again, for future computer, you know that the first generation of computer in the 90s until now in the 2020, and we know that processors is has been growing rapidly, right, compared to office chair. Office chair is back to 20 years ago. I think there is not much different. Okay, and so now the question is how we do assessment or to see whether this product or this concept of product has fulfilled the industrial design. Of course, we use ergonomics and aesthetics. This is a combination. So the first one is user interface. You look at the user interface to check whether it is intuitive. The meaning of intuitive, guys. So the meaning of intuitive in the product design is we talk about remote control. Okay, one example is remote control. In your remote control, there are many patterns, right? If you understand the pattern, the function of pattern, so all patterns for each pattern, so you understand the function correctly, then it is intuitive. But if you still there's a doubt, there is a question in your mind that what are actually the function of this pattern of these features of the product, so that product cannot be intuitive. Okay, that's very simple. Okay, and then safe, comfort, easy to use. I think everybody knows, right? And then the second one is emotional appeal. We cannot escape from emotions, guys. Emotion is more important than ratio. So people say that okay, emotion is talking about look, talking about appearance. Sometimes people judge rapidly, judge fast, okay, judge significantly based on emotion rather than the ratio, right? So emotion is talking about attractive, excitement, pride of owning a product, being of the team. So sometimes it is very difficult to yeah to understand because you know, right, emotion is it is a blur conditions, right? This is a very cannot be cannot be sometimes cannot be rational, okay, but everybody has, yeah. And then the third one is user ability to maintain and repairing the product. Okay, is easy, intuitive. It's easy to find the component when the product broke. Okay, the product cannot run well, so it's just easy to find the standard component. And then the fourth is appropriate use of resources. Okay, and also this is talking about for example, component and also maintenance costs. Yeah, I think the third and the fourth is almost similar. And the fifth is product differentiations. So easy to stand out, easy to yeah, your product is number one. Okay, easy to recognize, easy to remember, and it is unique and it's fit with or enhance corporate identity. So if you talk about the company, we talk about industrial, right? Industrial design. So when the product is owned by the company or industry, so the industry, then it reflects, enhance the corporate identity. Okay. So this is one example. Back 2 years ago, there's a Motorola RAZR or Razer. Okay, I think it's very outstanding product at the time, guys. Okay, you see that back to several years ago when you see the first time this product. Okay, and this is a very slick design, elegance, and again the colors and also how the patterns and this is the layout. It's a very futuristic, and this is the colors is also stand out, and Okay, it's a very pretty design and etc. Okay, and Motorola flip phones. Okay, and okay, this is the generation, the um, I mean, evolutions of Motorola phones, right? From first generation, Micro, Star, and V, and Press. So I think it's clear enough to see the evolutions and concept sketch and rendering. I think you have understood this stuff, right, guys? From the customer needs and then concept generations and followed by the sketches, renderings, and this is the prototype. Yeah, or we call it dummy. Okay, when you see that the size is the same but the material is different. Of course, it is not reflecting the functions, but it is reflecting the appeal or appearance. Okay, and this is the technical drawings. Okay, okay. Next one is identifications, industrial design for expenditures. Okay, ID expenditures. So it is depending on the product type. Handheld medical instruments are the highest in terms of the budget. I think everybody knows, right? Medical, especially for nowadays, you know that this is a condition when people against the virus called corona, okay, COVID-19. So I think it's medical instruments is very critical, and of course it is very expensive, right? And health medical instruments. And this is I think its expenditure is more on influenced by the technology driven. So if you see that the most advanced needs, it means that we talk about virus, if we talk about disease, and I think it's we need more advanced research on that particular subject, right? So it will influence the needs for product. It will influence the technology for that product. So the expenditure is more influenced by the advanced technology. Okay, then this one ID cost breakdown. Industrial design cost breakdown. We have direct costs, indirect costs, manufacturing costs, extended lead time, and all that costs that occur. I think you can use materials from cost analysis. So you have learned direct costs, indirect costs, overhead costs, and etc. Okay, you can. I think it's quite the same. Okay, and you try to just to adjust with the product design and development stages. And cost for industrial design, we look at the x-axis and y-axis. So y-axis is talking about percentage of product development budget spent on industrial design, and then this is the total expenditure of industrial design. So yeah, we will look at here, for example, handheld medical instruments. I think the yeah, it is the highest percentage of product development budget spent on industrial design. Yeah, I guess you understand, guys. I've already told you in the previous slides. And then, uh, yeah, we look at others products like mobile phone, computer, and etc. Is yes, it is located here, mostly here, most of the product. And then, okay, and this one, a jumbo jet. This is the jumbo jet is the highest in terms of total expenditure of industrial design, but the lowest for percentage of product development budget. I think it's not many yeah product development activities in a jumbo jet compared to, for example, handheld medical instruments. Okay, but of course, you know everybody knows, right? The jumbo jet is very expensive. I think it's the most expensive product so far. Okay, I think this is just the last slides. This is the assessment for industrial design. So if if, we asking you to see to um, to assess, okay, to assess your product, or you want us to assess certain product concept, whether it is fulfilling the industrial design or not, then you can use this simple example of assessment form. So uh, there are two criteria: ergonomics and aesthetics. Yeah, we put here one, two, three, four, five items. I think it's not five, not it's just five. You can put more. It's just an example. Okay, you can put 10, or you can put 15 or 8. It's up to you. It depends on the context of the product that you want to analyze, you want to assess, and also the aesthetic issues here. And this is the important and the performance. The important is to see what is the importance. It means that you can ask the customer, or you can ask the users what importance of each criterion to you. Okay, and this is the performance. Performance is done when you have already uh, form the the concepts. Okay, when you do a concept testing, then you have drawings, you have sketch, you have a prototype, for example, and then you ask uh, the customer how about the performance. Of course, this is not the final performance, because when we talk about final performance, when you already have the final product. But if not, you can relate this performance for assessing the concepts, okay, assessing the final concept. Then important is for actually for investigating the importance of each criteria. Okay, okay, guys, you know the difference, right? Okay, I think that's all for very short lecture in industrial design. Hopefully that you understand the concepts, and most importantly, you understand uh, what is the difference between user driven and also the technology driven in industrial design concept. Okay, thank you guys, and don't forget to do the very short review exercise that we put on the ULS. Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.